over to you.
So this might look familiar to you. So in September, August, September, that's about when you get the peak of tourist season, right? If you walk into a train station, you're going to notice, this is pretty much how it's going to be, in the train station. People come to the train, people come off the train, and now they're trying to figure out how to get to the next point. Do I take a bus, right? And you get to this point where, you're looking for a sign that tells you where the maps are, but you can't find a map. And then you get to the next point, and you see this complicated board on there, and you say, hey, listen, how do I get to my final point? Because my final point is not even on here. And this is my attempt at using OFO. I got some Mandarin, and I don't understand Mandarin, so I don't know how that happened. Also, if I had any luggage, I wouldn't know what to do with it. So what we have come up with, right, is basically a novel idea for tourists to see the city, and it's called Cambridge Loop. And this is how it works. So we take the economics of public transportation, right, but we make it smaller, right? And then we take that and we take the agility and the reactivity of data analytics. And why do we do that? Well, basically, with data analytics, we can make the routes more adaptive, more responsive. And we get what we get is a very tailored route for you. So you're a student, we know where you want to go, or at least the data does, right? You're a tourist, we know where you want to go. You want to see, King's College Chapel. We know where you want to go. So the data will make this route very adaptable for you. Let's move on. So where does this fit? What's the cost? Well, we think that taxis will, if you want to go from the train station to, King's College Church, it'll cost you £15. A bus will cost you $1.75. Cambridge Loop will be somewhere in the middle. And what does it do in terms of helping the congestion of the city? Well, the more inefficient bus routes are eventually going to be phased out by Cambridge Loop. And the big clunky buses, you're going to see fewer and fewer of those interruptions as the Cambridge Loop picks up steam. So how does it work, right? You get on the train, and as soon as you pop into the Wi-Fi, you're greeted with a splash page that tells you, hey, listen, you can use this particular app, and what this will do is this will make your journey, your secondary part of your journey, that much easier. You get to the when you're booking your train, that's another opportunity to advertise for Cambridge Loop. What you can also do is you get companies like Cambridge Science Park or University of Cambridge, where they know that between 5 and 7 on Monday they're going to expect a lot of traffic, so they can set up a loop in between these locations. So, how do we do this? First, we develop, the front end. We develop the back end with data analytics, right? That'll be things like seasonality, weekend, whether it's a weekend or a weekday, are there any events that day? And that will help optimize the route. So, before I let you go, there's 3 C's, right? There's cost, we help you with that, it's cheaper. Convenience, it's more convenient than a bus. You don't have to stop and make different, jump off a bus and get on another one. And it helps you see the character of the city. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Team Cambridge Loop. So, judges, for the final time, any questions?
It's a solution which relies on wheels.
It's a really tall bus. The red thing.
You need a. Sorry.
Study's quite the same.
Sorry.
So, I would say the difference between, say, a tour bus or, like you said, it relies on wheels. I think what we found when we were moving around city, using public transport especially, once you're off the train and you're a tourist, you're going to rely on a bus, or you're going to try to find one of those OFO bicycles. We found it awfully difficult to find one. And when we took a bus, it was highly inconvenient. We didn't know which bus stop to go to. We tried to come to the Bradford Centre. We asked the driver whether this bus would go to the Bradford Centre. The driver had no clue about it. Then we asked him, "Oh, do you go to the driving park?" And he said, "Yeah, I know where that is." So it was. I thought it was really inconvenient traveling through a bus or say a static route, which a toll route would be. The difference between Cambridge Loop and a static bus route is like it's dynamic. We leverage the power of data and we set up routes where we think people are going to go and want to go. So to start with tourists, it's just the beginning. You can pick up a route that goes a ring loop between Cambridge Station and King's College, and it can just be those two stops picking up and dropping off people. But that's just the beginning. There's no limit to how far it can go. Like we said, we can partner with the University of Cambridge. For example, our cohort, we are Cambridge MBAs. There's about 200 of us. Every year, 200 people are going to show up on a particular day, and they're going to completely ram and crowd the city of Cambridge. How do we fix this problem? We can set up Cambridge Loop to pick up Cambridge MBAs from the station and drop them off at Judge. So I think the flexibility is how it differs. You're right, we're on 4 wheels. There's a lot of technology that's under development at the moment. These wheels can become electric, they can become unmanned. So I think it's just the beginning of how we look at it and how we foresee this situation. What it does really well is it separates out the tourists from the locals as well. So you won't find tourists wandering into areas where locals are usually commuting from their way to and from work. So I think it keeps tourists happy, it keeps the locals happy. That's how this works.
And I also wanted to add one point to that. Today we have faced several challenges while walking, as well as some of our folks who are taking the bike. So out of 50 people out here, how many of us would like to walk and take a bicycle in this weather? We've really?
Instead of getting a taxi and getting stuck
Well,
in traffic?
this one is not a taxi as such. It's a convenience of taking a taxi, and at the same time also the cost effectiveness of taking a bus. So it's combining both of them.
Yeah, the idea is that you reduce, you carpool people and reduce the number of individual users of taxis. So you would go in and you would pop into a taxi and go straight away. The idea is 4 people use that same taxi, and that means lesser vehicles on the road.
Final question from the judges here at the back, Martin.
Have you met CityMapper?
Yes, we have.
And secondly, to what extent do you think that the problem you're solving here is actually about problems with the existing bus service? For example, the fact that like you said, it's very hard to find it, you don't know what the routes are, to some extent you can deal with that with kind of no technology means. Versus the kind of demand responsive, what are we really solving here? Is it the signage problem, or is it really that the origin destination matrix of where people want to go isn't really being fulfilled?
Yeah, so I think one of the teams previously touched on it, and they said that the route, the city and the station are actually 2 distinct entities, and you've got a bit of area in between that's really not desirable and nobody wants to walk through it. By implementing this solution, we kind of mitigate that particular issue. We're taking the tourist, the consumer in this end, directly to the city and dropping them off, and once they're done with doing their touristy business, bringing them back to the station and where they want
But
to
you're
be.
presumably also, you're presumably applying this same concept not just to that route, but to other areas of the city.
Yes.
like
Yes.
Absolutely.
same
But
concept.
you're not solving a wayfinding problem. You're taking away the defining problem from people by replacing it by a transport solution.
Well, there are 2 ways to look at it. They can be just vehicles, or you can put in interactive maps of where people want to be and what they want to look at. You can go, like one of the other teams said previously as well, how to fix the problem of signage. You can add more signage. That works as well. But will that deal with the problem of congestion? Will that deal with the problem of traffic? Probably not.
Congestion and transport is different from wayfinding, but it's okay. Thanks.
Well,
Thank you.
I
But-
just
but
want to
the
add.
bus
The bus itself is also very difficult to get on for foreigners, because you have to tell the destination that which foreigners don't understand. So it's kind of
Even
wayfinding.
locals.
Even locals have that issue.
Yes, good point. Thank you very much. Thank you.